find myself within darkness twisting me around. There is nothing I can do.
Good evening, I'm the Game Tutor, and tonight we're going to be grading The Evil Within. Now let me start off by saying that The Evil Within is by far the best Resident Evil game of the last 10 years. Confused? Let me explain. The Evil Within is a survival horror video game developed by Tango Gameworks and released by Bethesda. Now, Tango Gameworks was first opened in 2010 by Shinji Mikami, who is the creator of the Resident Evil series, and The Evil Within marks the studio's first game. So yes, this is very much a Resident Evil game, and the links and themes can be seen from start to finish. The game starts with Detective Sebastian Castellanos and his team arriving at Beacon Mental Hospital. They arrive to find police and hospital staff dead, and then this supernatural tale begins. Now, gameplay is very reminiscent of Resident Evil 4, and I couldn't help feel the entire way through the game that this was what Resident Evil 5 really should have been. Now, this is proper survival horror as opposed to the Gears of War with zombies experience that the more recent Resident Evil games seem to have had. Encounters are definitely best left avoided, and the least amount of interaction with foes the better. Careful crossing of the train is needed to avoid being spotted or becoming one of the hidden exploding traps. Now, ammo is scarce, very scarce on the higher difficulty settings, and as you progress through the game you unlock better weapons, but there's always that old school sense that a bigger, badder enemy may be around the next corner, requiring you to hold on to your ammo for the next big bad weapon. Two main gameplay additions over Resident Evil 4, one of which kinda works and one of which kinda doesn't, are included in the game. Firstly, the way doors work. Now, in the old Resident Evil games, that infamous door loading animation was a huge atmosphere killer, but now doors are used to great effect. A simple tap of the button allows you to tentatively open them and look in, and tap twice and you'll kick the door open, smashing into anything on the other side, but also alerting nearby enemies. Second is matches. Now, most enemies in the game can only be killed permanently with fire, so after felling an enemy you can then burn them with a match. But there's not enough matches, to instead you find yourself having to try and arrange bodies near each other so that you can burn them in one go. It does sound kind of tedious, and to be honest, it kind of is. I kind of see where they were going with this, but ammo's scarce enough, and without giving me essentially another resource to manage just to keep things dead after I've already killed them. Now, locations are varied, and the game's pièce de résistance being its incredible boss fights. They're exciting and varied, and you really do get into the character of these bosses that you're fighting. These definitely are the best boss fights outside of the Metal Gear Solid series, but I've made the conscious decision not to show any boss footage here, as there's just too much fun and I don't really want you to be spoiled. The tone of the game, like Resident Evil, is more gory and exciting than creepy and scary, especially when compared to games such as the recent PT demo or Outlast. Now, there are a few issues. The characters are all fairly one-dimensional, and I never really cared or felt connected to them at any real point. On the flip side though, the villains are actually a lot more interesting, and they do help to put the kind of vague plot along. Now, there's been a lot of chat regarding the PC version being capped at 30 frames per second, and also the unusual cinema style letterboxing, while distinct, does make you feel like you're losing some screen real estate. Now, personally, I didn't find the lack of 60 frames per second an issue, and I thought the game ran extremely well on both my gaming PC and my work PC. The game scales really well, and even a mid to low range PC should be able to provide a decent experience. For survival horror fans, this game is highly recommended, and for fans of Resident Evil, this game is an absolute must buy. This is a return to old school survival horror, albeit with both its pros and cons, but I can definitely recommend sitting down, cuddling up and turning off the lights. For the next 2 months on our Steam group, we will be giving away free Steam keys every week exclusive to members. And if you've enjoyed our video, please bookmark our site, thegametutor.co.uk, and come check us out on Facebook, Twitter and Dailymotion.